Hello and welcome to the Ridiculously Good VA Show with Tracy Daviero. If you are a virtual assistant or want to be one, this is the place to learn the tips and tricks you need to become a ridiculously good VA. I've been a part of the VA industry since 1998, and I'm excited to get to know you and help you build an amazing business. Let's go. Hey there, welcome to another episode of the podcast that teaches you how to be a ridiculously good virtual assistant. Today we're going to talk about your qualifications to be a ridiculously good VA. Today's quote comes from Walt Disney. Do what you do so well that they'll want to see it again and bring their friend. It's a classic quote you've no doubt heard, and it definitely describes going to Disney. They do what they do very well, and you can too, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. Let's go. So Walt Disney says you need to be so good they want to come back. And that is exactly true for any service-based business, not just for a theme park. And of course, Disney is very much a service-based business. It's because everybody is happy, of course, and that's why they want to come back. Happy customers are the key to a successful business, any business, but even more so your VA business. So how do we make our customers happy? Or how do we make sure they're happy? There's a lot of ways, but the simplest one I can think of is just to do what you know how to do and do it well. Here are some common complaints I hear from business owners about virtual assistants. They have pretended to be something that they are not. There's too much hand holding needed. They don't know enough about the industry that my business is in. They are not good at communication, or their level of professionalism is too low. So don't worry. We have a list of things that we know clients do wrong too. But this one gives you a little bit of insight into what clients are struggling with virtual assistants. And it's really important information to think about and to know and to deal with when it comes to your VA business. Part of it is that they are not making the decision to buy or to hire a VA because they've either heard things or they've had a bad experience in the past. And so sometimes we have to make up for that, right? If somebody else has wronged them, or if they've had a bad experience with somebody else. But these are all really, really common things. The great news is that they're super easy to fix. And that's why I tell you that I think the easiest way for you to make your clients rave about you is to just simply to do what you know how to do. If you have general admin experience, guess what? You're qualified to be a great VA. You don't need to start there and learn something else. You don't need to learn something before you ever start your business. And truly, I could leave this podcast episode right here. That is my main message to you today. You don't need to learn something to be a VA if you already have admin experience from the corporate world. Every single business owner in the world needs general admin work done in their business, and they should be outsourcing that business to someone like a VA, like us, so that they can focus on what it is that they do best in their business, which is working in their brilliance with their clients. So enter virtual assistants. It's what we do, it's what we specialize in, and it's what you specialize in. I talk to so many new VAs every day, and but also just a lot of women who are sort of checking out the industry and feeling it out. And one of the biggest misconceptions I always have to clear up for them is that I need to learn XYZ to get VA clients. You don't. Absolutely not. You already know what clients need from your work experience in an admin role. Now, if you don't have an admin experience, then you have to take training. But if you were, or if you were a receptionist and you didn't do a lot of, document preparation or anything like that, same thing. You might have to get a little bit of training. But most of us who are starting out our VA businesses are doing so after working for some period of time, sometimes a long period of time, in an admin role. And we know that we can work with multiple clients to help them as a freelance VA. It's why we're exploring the possibility of running our own business. Even if you only want to work with 2 or 3 clients, we still know that we can do it because we have the experience from the jobs that we've held. Now, if you aspire to be a social media VA or a podcaster's VA or a course creator's VA, you can do that. But the first thing you need to do when you're starting your business is to get money coming into it. Otherwise, it's not a business, right? And the easiest way to do that is to do what you know how to do right now. My best advice is always that. And sometimes I get pushback from new VAs or people that I'm talking to. But it is really important. If I asked you what you could help me with today, if I were having a conversation with you and I said to you, what can you help me with today? What would you say? There has to be something. And we may do a little conversation, have some, back and forth. What kinds of things do I need in my business? But you should know this already. Was it customer service, email management, scheduling? These are probably the top three general admin services that I hear that new VAs can provide. And they're awesome. People need them. But if you can tell me that you can do that for me, then it's clear to me that you're capable and of being a VA or of helping me with the need that I have, and that we can start working together today. If I asked you about questions about how to do any of those things, you could tell me, you could describe it for me, right? And then I, as a potential client, would feel confident that you could help me with what I need done. I would see the value in spending money to start working with you. But if you tell me that you're a brand new VA, that you don't have any experience, that you're taking some training to do this or that, or that you want to do this, or that you're willing to learn, or that you're a quick study and you could look after whatever I need, I would not have the same confidence in you. I wouldn't see the value in spending my money to work with you today. I'd probably call somebody else. And VAs all over the place are shooting themselves in the foot because of what they think the clients need. But here's the big news. If you think that all business owners need social media, or that that's what you need to learn in order to be a VA, guess what? They don't. That is the big news. I know so many people in my local town who run multi-million dollar businesses, and they don't need social media support. You know what they need? They need general admin. They need bookkeeping. They need appointment setting, scheduling. They need all of that kind of thing. So, where are you seeing the people that need social media as the big service, the main service? You're seeing it on social media, right? That's why you think that, because you're on social media and that's where people are going to find social media support. And that's why a lot of clients think that that's all VAs do, because the clients don't understand social media. They don't see the value in it. And so it's going to take them longer to spend their money on it. And this is exactly my point, that whatever a client decides to place value on is what they decide to spend their money on. And when we're talking about getting clients, that's the most important part. If they see that it's valuable and they know that they need it and they know that they want it, that's when they're going to make that buying decision. What is valuable to them is worth their money. It's not about us telling them what they need. It's about them deciding, this is what I need. You sound like you can, you make me comfortable that we can get this done. Let's do it. That's really the basis of a sales conversation. And so that's what you need to figure out. And it's why I always tell you that you should choose a target market, because it really helps you with that value part. I want to really get that word value out here today. If you say, I do customer service and research and reports and data entry and business presentations, that information makes sense to you. And I know what those things are. I mean, I understand that they make sense, right? They make sense to you. They are pretty broad or common terms in terms of the admin world, but it might not be appealing to all of the people who are seeing your stuff out there if you're posting that on social media or putting it on your website or having conversations with people about it. But say if you choose a target market that is course creators, those people who are doing online trainings, that's the new term for them if you haven't heard it, then you can actually get a lot more specific, and you can use all of those things that I just mentioned, but you can put the spin on them that gives them a lot more value for the people that you want to hire you as their VA. And so you can say then, I help research your course materials. I upload your course materials into the training systems and I test them. You can say, I do your new client or your new student or your new client onboarding. I manage all of that kind of thing, payments, communication, documentation, everything. That you can find course content for them and that you can create their course handouts and resources. So you see the difference. Those are all exactly the same services that I just talked about: customer service, research, reports, data entry, business presentations. But in the second example, where we're targeting the course creators, it's way more defined. It's so much more powerful when you're having a conversation with a client, or when you're putting that out there in the marketing pieces that you are using, pardon me. It will get noticed more by that potential client who is looking for support. They'll say, oh, those are all the things you can do for me, not customer service, data entry, business presentations. That doesn't land the same way. But when you understand their business and you can talk in terms that make sense and provides value to their business, they're going to be more confident in having a conversation with you and then hiring you, right? It's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. It's just getting more specific, being able to describe how you can help them, what you can do for them, which is all any customer wants to do. And it helps you get much clearer on their specific needs, and that's where they place their value. They're going to see that you understand their business, their industry, and that you won't be one of those VAs that I talked about earlier that maybe isn't going to be a really good fit. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to learn on the fly, and it doesn't mean that, you might not have a few communication issues or something like that. But from the get-go, they don't feel that you're not going to be a good fit. They feel that you have enough knowledge, you have the expertise, and that they're going to trust you to help with their business. You want to draw on all of your previous work experience, everything that you've done before. And I think that that is one of the things that I teach that I haven't really seen a lot of other people teach before. When I tell you that you are qualified to be a ridiculously good VA, it's because you are. Think about all of the jobs that you've ever had before. And those are all the things that make up who you are, right? When I work privately with a VA, or in my group programs too, in a lot of trainings that I do, I get the VAs to do what I call my skills inventory. And it's an exercise that reminds you, or that details, I guess, all of the things that you know, all the things you know how to do, all the things you've learned. So often, whenever we're thinking about what we know how to do for clients, we just think about the most recent job we've held, or the most recent role we have filled. But you know way more than that. To do a skills inventory, it's very simple. You just go back to the very first job you ever had. And I'm 54, so I went back a long time to do this. I had my first job when I was 14. What did you do there? I did this whole process myself. Now, I didn't do it this year, but I could. I could easily go back and sort of chronicle what it was that I've done over the years. But go back to your very first job, whenever that was. What did you do there? What did you learn? Not just the things, that tasks that you did. What did you do? Did you work on a team? Did you manage anybody at any point? Did you, what was it what were the skills that you developed? Did you learn critical thinking? Did you learn how to be a part of a team? Did you learn how to become really detail oriented? What are the things that you learned? And what skills are transferable to your business? After that, you go to the next job, and the next. And you complete your entire work history, but really look for those things. Whenever I first did this process myself, I went back and I looked at all the things that I knew how to do. And I had forgotten all kinds of things that I really, really enjoyed doing. And I realized that I could bring those into my business now because I still either knew how to do them, or they lit me up. They were really exciting for me. And then after you do your work experience, you do your education. What courses have you taken? What trainings have you taken? What stuff have you learned? Go back and look at all those things you've signed up for since you thought about being a VA. And then finally do not finally, but next you do volunteer work. What other things have you been able to learn online, otherwise? Volunteer work is really important as well because it's very, very valuable. Usually we get involved in something volunteer because it means something to us, or because we have a skill that we can bring to the table for that particular volunteer need. And then finally, what are your hobbies? You can incorporate your hobbies into your business too. It's so much more fun to build a business whenever you're working with people that you're interested in working with, right? Like for me, I started working with people in the literature industry because I really liked I don't even know if that's what it's called, the literature industry, but I really, really liked, I had taken a literature publishing lit course and a big program, and I really, really enjoyed it. I love to write, as you guys probably all know, and it was just so interesting to me, and I learned all the ins and outs of the publishing industry. I guess that's what it is, the publishing industry. I learned how to, do the ebooks and the EPUB and all that kind of stuff, book indexing and editing and proofreading, all the things I love to do. It was very, very interesting to me, and it made my business more interesting. It made the people that I networked with more interesting, made the stuff I did, as I worked, more interesting. So you can use your hobbies if that's something that is, something that you can relate to your job as well. Work with people in the health industry. If the health industry is interesting to you, or if you're passionate about it, it's a really great way to build that into your business as well. But the bottom line is, when you look at this whole inventory, you're going to see how much you actually do know. And when I did this for myself, like I said, I had forgotten so many things that I had learned or that I love to do. And I think you're going to find the same thing. And everything that you know wrapped up in this beautiful package is what makes you unique, and it's what makes your business unique. And I'll say it again, you are more than qualified to have clients hire you. You don't need to learn about Facebook ads or how to edit videos for Instagram Reels. You don't need to learn something brand new. It's hard enough to be a brand new business owner, confidence wise. So give yourself a break with the services. Do what you know. And like I said, if you want to take training to be a social media expert, you can totally do that. But you can do it after you have your business up and running, after there's money coming in, and after you have an actual business. You can change your services to whatever you want. You can change your target market, you can change your rates, you can change everything. But it's easiest to start now with where you are and what you know. When you are comfortable having business conversations and networking, the confidence really comes through in your voice. I often record the coaching calls that I do with my VAs, and I'll show them exactly where their voice changes in a call, where they're describing something that they do. When they're trying to convince me of something, they look away from the camera, they use too many words, and they kind of stumble through what they're trying to say. But when I ask them a question about something they do know about, they settle right in. Their voice gets louder, they look right at me, and they can describe the process easily and confidently. And that is what you want your clients to hear. That is what will make them feel comfortable and trust that you can help them with their business. Their business is very important to them, and so is their money. They want to believe that you can help them, but they have no way to do that if you don't assure them. And that's why working in your brilliance is key. It's also easier. Like, I'm a perpetual learner. I definitely don't want to have to learn something new every time I try to complete a task. When you're doing things that are new to you, that is sometimes the case. I remember trying to learn to do Facebook ads. I found it to be the most frustrating thing in the world. I still don't use them, to be honest. I definitely didn't know what I was doing, but my client had heard that she needed them, and it did seem pretty simple. Not only, though, that I not have any idea what I was doing, I spent a lot of her billable time learning, testing, trying to figure out, and honestly not really knowing whether what I was doing was working or not. But I also spent her other money on the clicks and the ad review, all that kind of stuff, right? The bill that you build up when you're doing the Facebook ads. And I really didn't have any confidence in doing that. That was something that I did not excel at, and it didn't make any sense. Now, that's obviously a big kind of service that only certain people provide, and that I probably shouldn't have been doing it. But it's one of the problems that if that was something that I had done for my client and she was very disappointed, side note, she was disappointed. But if it was something and she told other people that I had wasted her money on Facebook ads, that would have been a real mark against my business, even though I was just trying to help her. So, like I say, a bit of an extreme example, maybe, but that's the same kind of thing. When we burn their billable time because we're learning something, or if we're doing something because they ask us to, and we're learning about it and we're not good at it, we don't even like it, there's no reason to be offering it as a service, right? Because you know what? There are a lot of VAs who know how to do Facebook ads and they charge accordingly and they can actually help their clients get results, which is exactly what we want to do. We want to help our clients with the things that they need help with in their business. And to me, that's a referral. Like if I were looking to have somebody do Facebook ads right now, if somebody inquired about it, I would send them off to somebody who loved to do it and who was getting great results for people. And there's so many reasons that you should stick to exactly what you know, of course. That's one of them. But the biggest message I want to share with you in this episode is because you can, okay? Don't be one of those VAs who thinks you need to learn something to start your business. You don't. You're just really creating more stress for yourself. And here's what you need to do instead. You need to target a group of clients that you know you could help today. You need to determine exactly how you can help them and be able to describe that value that they're going to get from working with you today. You want to connect with a lot of them and help them today. Your business is going to grow immediately today, I promise. And don't forget, one happy client is going to tell their friends about you. And that's exactly why Walt Disney says to do what you do well. That's all you need to do to grow a really successful VA business, and you are already qualified to do so. Do what you know, figure out why that's important and how clearly you can describe that to the people that you can help, and go find a lot of them and get a lot of clients. Starting with what you know and showcasing your expertise to your clients right now is something that we can work on together in the Virtual Circle, which is my mastermind group for virtual assistants. Check it out at yourvamentor.com/TVC, as in the virtual circle. I bet it's exactly what you need to start running the VA business that you dreamed of. If you need some help figuring out what you do best, reach out to me at Tracy at yourvamentor.com. I've helped hundreds of VAs through their challenges and got them on their way to growing their business through my private and group coaching, and I would love to do the same thing for you. That's all I've got for you this week. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Ridiculously Good VA Show. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. For more great resources for your VA business, visit my website at yourvamentor.com. I'll see you back here next time.